All right, you fucking posers, let's talk about Lords of Chaos. I'm kidding, I'm a fucking poser. I know nothing about Norwegian black metal. My brother is a guitarist in a death metal band, but I'm sure that's for posers if you're a black metal kid. But, anyways, this is about the band Mayhem and the lead guitarist played by Rory Culkin and kind of the events leading up to a couple people's deaths, a bunch of arsons, because the moral of this story is careful what you're selling, because there's some people out there, no matter how dark it is going to buy your bullshit, and it's going to possibly cost you your life. And that's just it. I mean, this movie really does a good job of taking a character, because this is real life. Now, when you watch a biopic, when you watch anything that's based on true events, you've always got to take that with a tremendous grain of salt, because, you don't know what's real. There was not a stenographer there taking down all of the dialogue and the events, and who knows which is which. But the way the story is told, and there are some true elements to it because it actually did happen and they're going off of those things. When you play with fire, you get burned. And they do a very good job of setting up Rory Culkin's character in this, who's a real life guy, and he just kind of tries to sell a brand, and a bunch of kids buy into it, and he gets himself in way too deep. And throughout the movie, you're very confused on whether or not he really is into this shit or if he's not. And I think Rory does a very good job of selling that back and forth, where I was like, how involved is this kid? But as the movie goes on, you kind of understand where his character is heading and where other characters are as well. Now, I will say this, man, this movie features possibly the most brutal suicide I've ever watched. This guy who kills himself, man, do they not shy away from it. There's 2 other kills in this movie, and while vicious, there's not a lot of on-screen gore. Now, when I say gore, I mean differently, because I think there will be people who watch this and go, what the fuck are you talking about? That was graphic and gory as shit. Graphic, I'll agree with. Gore to me is different, because blood and stab wounds that you can't actually see forming in the flesh, is just like stabbing into a body and then pulling the knife out and there's blood on it. That's not gore to me, but it is to some people. So I will say, you're not seeing like, opening ups of chests and hearts and shit being ripped out and arms and legs being cut off. And you know what I mean? That's gore, graphic gore to me. But there is violence in this movie, absolutely. But the suicide, on the other hand, is graphic and gory. And I was like, wow, that was intense. That was really brutal. Now, I know that there are some people out there who are like super into black metal and took this movie way too seriously, either in one direction or the other. They've actually attacked friends of mine for reviewing the movie. So for those people, fuck off. Like, really, that's what you have to do with your life? Go and watch movie reviews on something, some movie that talks about something that you like, and if the person says it's good when you hated it, or vice versa, you're going to blast them. Fuck off. Like, seriously, that's just silly shit. But yeah, I don't know. It's a very good movie. I will say that. I did enjoy it. It's dark. It reminds me of SLC Punk, but a much darker version. A bunch of kids hanging out, very centric on the music. They're obsessed with their music. They think it's the greatest thing ever. Anybody else who listens to it is either a true blue supporter of the music or is a total fucking poser, and anyone outside of that, it is beneath them. They push it. Shows, music, fucking, fighting. Very similar in approach, but just as I said, a much darker version. And I dug it. I thought it was a really good movie. I caution some people that the subject matter does get pretty damn dark, as one would expect. I knew nothing about the story going in. I know nothing about black metal. But overall, I dug it. I think there's good performances in here. Shockingly, one of them is from Sky Ferreira, who was in Green Inferno, Eli Roth's Green Inferno, and was horrid. But I feel like that's further evidence towards that Eli Roth is not a good director of talent. I like Eli Roth's movies. Like, I really enjoyed Hostel and Hostel 2 and Cabin Fever and Knock Knock and even Green Inferno. I had fun with them. Are they I don't even go down that road. Whatever. I enjoyed them, yes. But look at Keanu Reeves, who's kind of in his resurgence right now with the John Wick franchise alone. I think, is he an amazing actor? No, but he understands his range and he kind of stays within it. And Eli Roth did not rein in and kind of keep Keanu where he needed to be in that Knock Knock movie. He went full overboard and it was awful. His performance in that movie when he's going for the dramatics is bad. And Sky Ferreira in Green Inferno is horrid. I remember going into the theater because I know her music and I think she's a very attractive woman. And I was excited to see her. And when she was in the movie, I was like, wow, please never act again if this is what you got. Here she is in this movie. And while she's not giving some Oscar award-winning performance or some, award bait kind of performance, she's good. She's fine. She's, I would never question her acting. Had I not even realized it was her, I would have been like, yeah, she was a totally normal, fine actress. The role that she played, she serviced it well and it played its part. Yeah, good. So that was surprising. I feel like everyone in this does a very good job. The aesthetic matches it. It's very dark and drab and dreary and macabre and fits the tone. The killings, when they happen, are brutal. So that's good. As I said, the fucking suicide, wow, what a memorable sequence. But yeah, this is just a very interesting case study on these events and a good character study of a person who gets themselves in way too deep and you could feel sympathy for, but at the end of the day, you do have to sit back and go, what the fuck did you expect? Like, when you get involved with this kind of stuff and you preach this kind of stuff, what do you think it's going to attract? So, as I said, be careful what you preach, man, because there's some nuts out there who are listening and are going to take it way too fucking seriously. So, I try my best on this channel, to never get too preachy. I try to share experience. I try to share knowledge at times. I try mostly to stick to the movies, but I'm a human being and I have life experiences. And if the story, hits on something that I feel like I have a good story to tell or something that connects to that or some kind of nuggets of wisdom, whatever to share, I will. But you got to be very careful with the shit you say and the message that you put out there, because there's some really, really fucked up people in the world, and this movie definitely does a good job of showcasing that. So anyway, good movie. It's on Hulu. I recommend it, but it's not for the faint of heart, and it's a downer of a movie. But let me know what you guys think. Adios.